Back now with breaking news right now out of New York City. That's where there are reports of an upside-down helicopter in the Hudson River. You're taking a live look right now. This was reported to have gone down near Pier 40. It's in Lower Manhattan. FDNY, the Fire Department of New York, confirming that crash. And it says both land and marine units are on the scene. They say that their team is responding to the unit, but clearly something that is very concerning given the position of this helicopter upside down in the Hudson River, clearly not a planned landing. Also, when you consider temperatures that have been quite cold in New York City, that is a major concern if there are people who are looking, who are perhaps on this helicopter, and as well as for the rescue crews who are going out there. Right now, let me take a closer look at this image because it's coming to us into our newsroom as we're getting this. You can see ambulances, emergency vehicles starting to reach it, as well as what look like emergency vessels surrounding this helicopter. Again, breaking news that this helicopter has landed upside down, or it was found upside down in the Hudson River. For folks who don't know this area, it's Lower Manhattan. And we're getting right now news in from the New York Police Department. I'm taking a live look at this along with you all. It says, due to a helicopter crash in the Hudson River in the vicinity of the West Side Highway and Spring Street, expect emergency vehicles and traffic delays in the surrounding areas. So that is something that we're getting right now from New York Police. But if we go back out live to that image right there, you can see ferries also making their way past this. Obviously, temperatures right now, 41 degrees or so in New York City. So this is all happening on a very chilly afternoon as well, which is a major concern if there are people and how long they would be in the water before rescue crews got to them. Again, no word at this point how many people were in the helicopter and what their conditions are at this moment. But you can imagine time is of the essence as these emergency responders head to this helicopter and surround it. We have crews right now who are looking into this, as well as our local station, CBS New York, has its reporters making their way to the scene. But this whole area, we understand, is under a traffic alert as folks try to clear the streets in order to get to this helicopter as soon as possible. No word yet also on what kind of helicopter it is. New York airspace is a very busy place. And of course, Hudson River, when you hear about the Hudson River rescue that has, of course, captured the world's attention, this is something that brings that day to mind. We're going to stay on top of this breaking news. We're going to toss it over to CBS New York right now. What
are some things that are on your mind right now as far as what investigators are doing?
Well, thank you very much. The first thought that I have would be, of course, of those people who were on board the helicopter. Certainly, we're concerned about them. Now, from an NTSB perspective, the NTSB will lead the investigation. They'll be assisted by the FAA, and they will start documenting whatever they can. They'll be collecting video evidence. They'll recover or have the helicopter recovered from the water. If there are any survivors, they will interview them. They'll look for electronic data that may be in the helicopter in terms of microchips or anything that can provide data. So they will be ready to investigate this. And having worked for the board for 15 years, I'm very confident that they will conduct a thorough investigation. So, Robert, was there any inclination that weather today around Manhattan could have been a factor in this helicopter going down there in the Hudson? Our understanding is that it was a pretty average day as far as winds go in the area. Well, I think it's too early to draw any conclusions like that. So the NTSB will sort all of that out. I know that everybody wants answers. They want to speculate. My training from the NTSB tells me don't speculate. Let's let the facts come out.
You know, just from a rescue point of view, if you could help us out in that area, Mr. Sumwalt, what are the priorities other than obviously trying to get to the people that are on board that plane? But what about preserving evidence at this point? Well, I do think that the main priority is the preservation of life. That's the main priority. And
and hopefully there will be survivors. But then they will have the NTSB will have the wreckage recovered. They will defer to the local officials to assist with that. But usually these avionics, these radios, they can survive being in water for a short time. And the NTSB has a good success with being able to extract data from those things, like engine monitoring, health chips, and things like that.
And you spoke to us there about some of those electronics, that data that comes whenever a vehicle goes down in this manner. The importance of a black box. We understand that most helicopters, of course, are going to have them on board. Can you walk us through the importance of what that will do as this investigation moves forward?
Yeah, and like you pointed out, I don't think there's an official crash recorder on the helicopter. But again, the NTSB has been able to get data from a lot of sources that aren't really used for crash were not intended for crash investigation. But even iPhone video and position data can be very helpful. There's now equipment that broadcasts to aircraft controllers called ADSB, and that's constantly putting out speed and altitude and location information. And so all of this will help the NTSB put together a picture of what's happened.
Can you talk to us a little bit, if you can, about just the nuances of flying a helicopter in a metro area such as New York City? What are some of the things that pilots need to be concerned about, aware about, other than, flying, let's say in more open spaces?
Well, that's a good question. I've never flown a helicopter. I was an airline pilot for 2.5 decades, and so that's really where my expertise is. So I would defer that to someone who has actually flown helicopters.
And in addition to that, would this crash investigation, is this going to impede on aviation in the metro area for the next several hours? Can anybody expect to see a change or a difference in takeoffs or landings at airports, like JFK or LaGuardia?
I would not suspect so, and that's a really good question. But this investigation, the wreckage is on. In fact, I'm looking at your video screen right now, your video feed. I'm in Houston, and I'm seeing WCBS on the TV right now. So anyway, I think that no, it will not. It should not impede traffic in and out of the tri-area airports.
All right. And Robert, I'm glad you are looking at the feed here now. So you're seeing the same thing we're seeing from our tower cam there on the Hudson in lower Manhattan there. When you look at this response, you see, or at least we saw earlier, a lot of the cruise liners in the area, the tour boats, they surrounded the spot that we believe the helicopter went down at. And then NYPD, of course, came shortly after. What goes through your mind when you look at this response from both law enforcement personnel, rescuers, and then also everyday people who were just out on the water when this helicopter crashed?
Yeah, I was at the NTSB when the U.S. Air crashed or had the forced landing on the Hudson. I was at the board then, and we saw the part of the success of the survivors was because of the just what you mentioned, the ferry boats in the area, local responders. They aided tremendously in the survivability, and so we are hoping that people were able to get out of the helicopter and be rescued.
Mr. Sumwalt, if you could please stand by. We're just going to update our viewers on the situation here and also give some more information on what we've been learning. But please do stand by in case we want to ask you some more questions as we continue our coverage. For those of you that are just joining us, we are interrupting programming here this afternoon to let you know that a helicopter has crashed into the Hudson River this afternoon. The NYPD saying that it happened in the vicinity of the West Side Highway and Spring Street. NYPD also posting on social media here that in this vicinity, this area of the West Side Highway and Spring Street, to expect emergency vehicles and traffic delays in the surrounding areas. So if you're listening to this and you have family or friends, or if you're planning on heading into this area on the West Side Highway, please avoid please avoid this area. We do have crews also on the scene. We're going to be covering both the Jersey side and the Manhattan side of the Hudson. And right now, we can also tell you that the NYPD, sadly, confirming here this afternoon that at least one person has died in this crash, this helicopter crash in the Hudson River. We do not know how many people were in the helicopter at the time of this crash, but we are hearing just now into our newsroom that the NYPD does confirm that one person has died in this helicopter crash this afternoon. Sad news to update you there. But as we get more information, we'll continue to give that to you. In the meantime, you're looking at live pictures of this scene where the crash took place. You can see several boats there in your picture. Some of them, obviously, rescue boats. Others that are too small that I can't really tell what they are. But a big police presence, both on the ground, in the water, and also we can tell you that there is an NYPD helicopter up above as well.
And this is, everybody at home, very preliminary in this investigation. This just came down. We are piecing this together, as is the NYPD, as are you guys. As we're getting information, we're telling you as soon as we get it. As we just said, we can confirm this is now a fatal helicopter crash there in the Hudson. And it looks like we might have some new video here just into the newsroom. We're taking a look at what we believe, as we've circled it there, is the helicopter there in the Hudson. And all the videos we had earlier, we couldn't see anything in the water, which led us to believe that maybe that chopper was submerged there in the Hudson, invisible to at least our tower cam. I'm sure they're down in the water. You probably can see better. But if you see here right on your screen, we're circling what we now believe is the helicopter there in the Hudson. NYPD just confirming at least one person is dead in this crash. And this is, of course, a video taken long before anybody else rushed to that area to attempt any form of rescue.
Okay, we're also hearing, in addition, that two other people were pulled actually out of the river. We do not know their conditions, however. So we know that one person confirmed dead, two others were pulled out. Their conditions are not known. But I want to reference the video that we were showing just minutes ago that Alan was talking about. And Robert, if you're still on the phone with us and have been listening, you know, the first thing that I noticed when we see the video of the helicopter is how much of it was already submerged in the water. I've covered, these stories before of helicopters going down in the Hudson, also the Hudson, excuse me. And usually there are like floating devices at the bottom of the helicopter in the landing gear. Can you talk about that at all? And does it strike you that the helicopter is submerged in that fashion, so deep into the river so quickly? All right, it looks like we do not have Robert Sumwalt, but...
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, now we can hear you. Were you able to hear my question?
Yes, I did. I could hear it just fine. And hopefully you can hear me okay. Sometimes for whatever reasons, the floats are not activated. We'll remember the case of the Fly Nyan crash that happened back around 2018. And there was a case where the floats one of them did not inflate properly. So the helicopter rolled over on its back. And so it just depends if the helicopter even had the floats, and if they had them, did they activate as they should have? So without the floats, obviously, the helicopter will sink.
Is it required, though, those floats, are they required to be on a helicopter for this very reason?
I really don't know the answer to that.
We have been watching live coverage there from CBS News New York of what the NYPD says was a helicopter crash in New York City's Hudson River. They are reporting that one person has died. Two people, they say, were pulled out of this water. It happened around 3:30 this afternoon in Lower Manhattan near the Holland Tunnel. We'll make sure to stay on top of this with continuing coverage. In the meantime, we're going to turn it over to CBS News 24/7, Juliet Goodrich, for the latest on this incident and more.